My king.
You need just one. I see you looking, but you hard to impress, huh? You ain't found a Drops Radio. Now you live five drive time best. It's the Bianca Burwell show. You gon' listen for what you been missing, man. Who you got for your radio? Got the new entrepreneur, make a radio rock. From Atlanta to the Cayman, internet came and out of East and the West, both love what you're saying. And this is not just for days. Friends who say love what you play.
It's the Bianca Burwell show. It's the Bianca Burwell show. Beat Drops Radio. Beat Drops Radio. Beat Drops Radio. What's going on, people? This is your girl Bianca Burwell on the TheBeatDropsRadio.com. And the calling number is 404-826-9223. Again, 404-826-9223. If you want to listen in, or you know some people that aren't able to tune in on whatever smart device, whatever they might have, it's not working, call the listen line. It's 401-347-0418. If you want to see everything that's happening as it happens, just go to TheBeatDropsRadio.com. Click on Watch Live. The Q&A box is open. And if you have any questions, comments about today's show, or anything else that's on your mind, just type it in right there. Give me about 20-30 seconds of lag time, and I'll be able to answer it appropriately. So, the grand jury has decided up there in Staten Island, in the case of Eric Garner, no indictment. They have decided not to indict the police officer that put that fatal chokehold on Mr. Eric Garner as he was outside. So, standing on the street and all of that craziness that we saw play over and over again in social media. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Ferguson. We're going to talk about Bill Cosby. I might even get some tips and some other stuff as far as business is concerned. I don't know. We'll just see exactly how this plays out. So keep it locked right here on the Bianca Burwell Show. And if you haven't done it already, like us on our Facebook page by going to TheBeatDropsRadio.com. Click on the F. That'll take you directly to our Facebook page. Once you click like, suggest it to all of your friends on social media. And if you don't do Facebook, then follow us on Twitter at BeatDropsRadio, or you can just follow me on Instagram, Bianca_Burwell. So we're going to get this show underway. Man, there's a whole lot going on, isn't it? It seems like as soon as you close your eyes or you just look away for just a minute, then something happens. Okay, my intern is wrapping me up. Really? You wrapping me up? That's crazy. All right, keep it like right here. We got a lot of stuff that we're going to be talking about. I'll see if I can get some sound bites in during the show. So keep it locked.
invite you to listen to today's music and enjoy refreshments. Network and welcome to the Worldwide Private Atmosphere, located here in Northeast Atlanta. The website Cyber Cafe offers a convenient and enjoyable location to check your email, surf the internet, print, scan, fax documents, and make copies, all in one location. Visitors can connect to the internet using our high-speed computers and receive online assistance at no additional 1,500 square feet. Cyber Cafe is staffed with highly qualified and knowledgeable trainers. Ask about our mobile training for seniors program. We deliver up to 8 internet-ready computers to your community center and train seniors to effectively use the computer and safely surf the internet. Visit us online at www.thebeatdropsradio.com or call 770-465-4000 for more information and rates. The Web Zone. Get away and get online.
Hey, what's that you're playing on your tablet?
The Bianca Burwell Show.
You are tuned into the Bianca Burwell Show on the TheBeatDropsRadio, your top 40 pop and R&B station. Interesting day today, isn't it? I've been looking at the news and also listening, especially while I was up last night doing my finals for school. And the news, I was just remarking just the other day. And if you didn't hear yesterday's broadcast, let me say this right now. If you didn't hear when Mark Bell and the other young lady that he had with him, I think he said Journey, I can't remember her name. Please, I apologize, Miss Lady. Excellent show. Please make sure that you go back and listen to it. It's on our Mixcloud. You can also go to our Facebook fan page. And in case you missed it, also we had Carlette Martin, Gospel Rhythm's first artist. And her single is dropping on December the 6th, Saturday, December the 6th, for her Christmas Day single off of her newly released EP. So make sure you guys support that, Carlette Martin. But if you didn't hear the show, you need to go back and listen to it because we talk about all manner of things, and especially the things that's going on right now as we speak. And like I say, I vowed to give you current events and things that's going on right now. And on my way over to the station, and I heard the breaking news come through that Staten Island grand jury has decided not to indict the officer that put the chokehold on Mr. Eric Garner. If you remember, this happened earlier this year. I believe it was during the summertime. And what we saw was a whole bunch of police officers heading towards this gentleman. There was a confrontation. Well, I'll just say there was an argument back and forth. He was saying that he hadn't done anything. And the police then, of course, proceeded to put him in a chokehold. We hear him say several times within that video that he can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. And he eventually died in front of everyone there. So I do have something here. I'm going to try to play it. Excuse me, y'all. My sinuses and allergies, all of that is just absolutely crazy right now. So let's see if I can get this to play. Let's see here. Make sure it's live radio, y'all. And like I said, this is breaking news, so I haven't had a chance to hear this entire clip that I'm about to play right now. So we'll check it out together. How about that? That's exactly what we're going to do. So here it is.
Concerns here. It's not just Ferguson. We're dealing with Staten Island. We're dealing with Cleveland, Ohio. This is a national problem.
On Monday, the Reverend Al Sharpton and Mayor de Blasio met at the White House with President Obama.
In some places, people understandably may feel their voices are not heard. In this city, the voices of the people are heard.
Grand jurors are considering charges of manslaughter, criminally negligent homicide, and reckless endangerment. Police are preparing for protests.
We, on the other hand, on the police side, will naturally gear up to deal with any potential contingency that might occur.
Today, I asked Staten Island's prosecutor,
what is your message to New Yorkers who are waiting for this decision?
I'd like the New Yorkers to be patient The grand jury has been diligently listening to evidence.
Some of that evidence, testimony from Daniel Pantaleo, the NYPD officer accused of applying a chokehold to Garner's neck. Pantaleo maintains his actions against a man resisting arrest were justified. As for the grand jury vote, the DA knows not everyone will accept the outcome.
Regardless of what the decision is, there'll be some demonstrations. We had a remarkably peaceful demonstration. It's great to be in America where people could voice their opposition to something.
And again, multiple sources tell me they expect the grand jury to vote in this case tomorrow. These grand jurors have been hearing evidence for 3 months. In the newsroom, Andrew Siff, News 4 New York.
All right, so that is what is going on right now. So you guys just heard it the same as I did, the situation that's going on there. I didn't mean to close that completely out, but that's the situation that's going on. They said that the grand jury has been listening to testimony and for 3 months in regards to that case there with Eric Garner. And I just find it very interesting, you know, and I was looking at the charges, you guys, and I don't know if you guys are paying attention, but I was looking at it and I don't know, are they charging them on the right things? What do you think? You know, if you've got any questions or comments, the Q&A box is open, by the way, and you can watch live right now and be a part of this conversation by going to TheBeatDropsRadio.com, click on the Watch Live tab, and then where it says Join the Conversation, click right there, and then the Q&A box will open up, and you guys can voice whatever it is, what you think your thoughts are. But I don't know, man. This is we've got two things back to back. Well, one thing I can say about this situation that they could have done better as far as the what happened in Ferguson. They didn't wait till the nighttime to announce this. They did not. And there have been those, especially those that were on the show yesterday, that felt as though the city or Ferguson could have been charged also in inciting a riot because of the manner in which they handled that. I'm just toggling back and forth between the two because I thought that, my guest yesterday had some valid points when they said, when you can set a situation up to fuel exactly the type of response that you want. The family could have been told ahead of everyone else, look, this is what the grand jury decided as far as in Ferguson, and we're going to need you to stand with us and try to promote as much calm as possible. But they heard it the first time, just like everybody else, standing outside. At 9 o'clock, actually it was pushed back. It was supposed to be at 9 o'clock, but I think it got pushed back a little bit further than that. As far as when they announced it, so a lot of anger, a lot of frustration, and there are some things that they said they were going to share with me. So I'll wait and hold off until I get the actual videos, and then I'll share it with you guys. Now, in this case here with Eric Garner, we all saw this entire thing play out, unfortunately, over and over again. And the grand jury voted not to indict the police officer Daniel Pantaleo in his death. And now we know that he put him in a chokehold during an arrest for what they accused him of was selling untaxed cigarettes. That's what they accused him of. And he kept saying he didn't sell anything, he didn't have anything. That's what we saw while we were watching this video that was heard all around social media, correct? So in this video that we saw, we heard him say constantly, I can't breathe, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. But yet, the chokehold continued. The police did not hold up. I mean, just not at all. Chokeholds apparently are supposed to be banned by NYPD guidelines. And Garner's death prompted large protests, all across the city and across the nation as well. So the grand jury's decision, comes just over a week after we see what's going on in Ferguson, Missouri, and they declined to indict Officer Darren Wilson there in the shooting death of Michael Brown. So this is a developing story, and there are some things I'm gonna see if I can pull this up. Excuse me, because we have folks that, you know, are gonna say a wide variety of things. Let's see if I can try to pull this up. It's live radio. Live radio. I'm trying to pull this story up as soon as I possibly can. If I can't pull it right now, let me see. This might be it right here. Because actually I saw a few more things. Hopefully a soundbite doesn't just automatically begin. But you know, this is a sad situation, and I don't know what people are expecting. I don't know what the authorities are expecting in this situation, but what we do know is that we've got 2 cases back to back. But they're, you know, the only where they're similar is that you have the death of 2 black males that are unarmed in the hands by the hands of police officers. That's what we have. That's what we see in both of these cases here. And we also see that there's no indictment on either. Now, you know, Charles Barkley has had a whole lot to say as of late. I don't even really want to give him, you know, too much of my time, you know, because everybody is entitled to their own opinions. Absolutely, everybody is. That is the reason why we, you know, love the country that we're in, is because we have the freedom of speech, so-called. At least it was more so prevalent previous than now. Right now, you got to be so politically correct, and I absolutely hate that. You know, you should be able to voice whatever thoughts and concerns or you know, protests that you have. You should be able to say it. At least that's the way that the country was supposedly built. But now, if you say certain things against homosexuals or, you know, different cultures or races or anything like that, then people want to basically, you know, cut your income and all this other kind of stuff. But now we know that the family, Eric Garner's family, was suing New York City over his death. So, and the family members were seeking $75 million. I think they filed this lawsuit back in, was this October? Nope. Yeah, I think it was in October that they actually, the family of Eric Garner had filed the lawsuit against the city of New York. So, you know, it's disheartening to see the situation take place. I will say in this particular case, I wasn't surprised when it came to the situation in Ferguson. I was not surprised there, you know, but this one, I was surprised. I was surprised. Now, I'm looking over some of the things that, you know, that they're saying, and I did see on CNN that there were some of the reasons why they said that they were not going to indict the officer in regards to Eric Garner, you know, in his murder, is because they said they had to weigh as far as his weight. He was overweight. He was asthmatic. So they felt that those things played a role in his death. I guess set aside the big forearm that was wrapped around his neck, causing him not to be able to breathe with other officers piled on top. I guess that had absolutely nothing to do with it. Maybe he just, you know, they're figuring that if he was walking down the street that day, that very time, that very moment, that he probably just would have dropped dead of natural causes. That's absolutely the craziest thing. And we also saw that this is something that, you know, oh, gracious. And also, too, I want to say that the family has said that they never wanted this to be a black-white issue. It's a right or wrong issue. And I have to agree with them in regards to that. It's not black or white. It's right or wrong. And that if an officer is applying something that is banned in New York City, and also, let's not forget that the coroner or the examiner already said that he ruled his death, Mr. Garner's death, as a homicide. So how can his death be ruled a homicide, a chokehold be placed, a banned chokehold be used on Mr. Eric Garner, and then still no indictment? I don't know, man. This is some interesting stuff. So I guess we'll just wait and see. Maybe there's some other stuff apparently that we have not looked at or that we've not been privy to as of yet. But this is what the grand jury has said. But I still want to voice this. And I said it before, I'll say it again. I think that sometimes the charges need to be reevaluated. What exactly are you charging the officer with? Because the jury does have to go according to the charges that are placed in front of them. That's what they have to go according to. Was it according to X, Y, and Z? Now, if you've got some other thoughts, let me know. If you're watching, I appreciate you watching. If you're watching the show, the Q&A box is open, so you can click join the conversation, type in there. Let me know what your thoughts are in regards to this. Was the grand jury right? Were they wrong? Do you feel indifferent? Now, some have said, and when I say some, I'm talking about Mr. Rush Limbaugh. I listen to him almost on a daily basis just to listen to some of the things that he is spewing out. And he spews a lot. And just listening to him and his thoughts in regards to Ferguson and the people and how they react, he felt like it was going to be, looting and protests and all the other kind of stuff. Anyway, I just find it odd. He's like, oh, now we got Al Sharpton and all the rest of them. At least he doesn't have to travel this time. I don't know. I guess some people just kind of overlook that these are people. These are human beings that we're talking about, that we're dealing with. And folks have lost their lives. Families have been shattered regardless. And it just continues to happen right in front of us. So if you guys got any thoughts, I'm all for it. The calling number is 404-826-9223. Again, 404-826-9223. That is the call-in number. I'm going to continue to talk about this and also Ferguson and also Bill Cosby. He's back in the news again. I'm pretty sure that him and his attorneys appreciated the break during this whole situation that happened with Ferguson. Just saying. So we'll be back after this. Keep it locked right here on the Bianca Burwell Show. Tamar Braxton featuring Future. No. Kaya, what I live for. Keep it locked right here on the Bianca Burwell Show. You are tuned into the Bianca Burwell Show on the Beat Drops Radio, your top 40 pop and R&B station, New Beat of Atlanta. Follow us on Twitter at Beat Drops Radio, and also like us on our Facebook page, The Beat Drops Radio. If you don't know how to get there, just go through the website, click the F, and it'll take you directly there. And you can see some of the things that's going on. And we have Bridget Malone that has chimed in via our Q&A box on the Watch Live, and what she says is, do you think the police use their authority the wrong way? Bridget, by all means, I do. I think that not all police, though. I think some police, all it takes is just a few to do things, the wrong way and abuse their authority. And I do think that, there are some great officers out there. I know a few of them, but then there are those police officers that just misuse and abuse their authority. I don't know. Sometimes it makes you think, were they bullied when they were younger? Did they have the Napoleon syndrome? I don't know. But once that badge goes on the chest and the nightstick goes right there and the gun, then all of a sudden, they misuse that, and you hate to see that, because the police, at least when they were initially instituted, right, was supposed to be to protect and serve. And some of my guests that have been here, Bridget, they have, said that they weren't here to protect and serve us, meaning the Black Americans or those of African descent or more descent, that it just wasn't for us. So, and that just looking at Black people or just the Black race was a reminder of an industry that is no longer valid right now, that is that's old, and I'm talking about slavery. And there are just so many things that have happened during the course of time, and Black people being able to vote now and all of that. But there's an anger, there's a problem, and communication is lacking. Is it on purpose? Possibly. So I hope I answered your question. Do you think police use their authority the wrong way? That is what Bridget Malone has chimed in on. And my answer to you, Bridget, is yes. There are some police officers that use their authority the wrong way. And I think that is the case in this situation with Eric Garner. I think, that man lost his life at the hands of the police officer. And there just was no, he says that the police officer says that he's remorseful, which is something that is completely opposite to the situation there in Ferguson with Michael Brown, where we have Darren Wilson saying that his conscience is completely clear about that. He doesn't feel bad in any way, shape, or form in regards to, him doing his job. That's what it was. That's how he felt about the situation. And this officer here in Staten Island says that he didn't intend on that to happen, that the family of Eric Garner is in he and his family's prayers at all times. Whether that's the case or not, I don't know. But that is what he is claiming at this point. So, matter of fact, what he said, and I quote, and this is the officer that happened as far as Mr. Garner, Petelio, he said he became a police officer to help people and to protect those who can't protect themselves. It is never my intention to harm anyone, and I feel very bad about the death of Mr. Garner. My family and I include him and his family in our prayers, and I hope that they will accept my personal condolences for their loss. So Jonathan Moore, who is the attorney for Garner's family, told the Associated Press that he was shocked by the decision, which I'm sure like everybody is experiencing shock right now. But I will say this. I said it last segment, and I'm going to say it this one. I commend them on not waiting till 9, 10 o'clock at night and, let this information out, like what happened in Ferguson. Just gracious. What the attorney says, Jonathan Moore for the Garner family says, I am actually astonished, based on the evidence of the videotape and the medical examiner, that this grand jury at this time wouldn't indict for anything is really just astonishing. Okay, the grand jury could have considered a range of charges from a murder charge to a lesser offense like reckless endangerment. The Staten Island District Attorney's Office didn't immediately respond to a call from the Associated Press, but Garner's mother and widow are expected to hold a news conference with Reverend Al Sharpton, I think later on today or on Wednesday. Previously, relatives said the video and medical examiner's report should have been enough to warrant at least an indictment. They're saying at least an indictment just based upon the medical examiner saying that and ruled that it was a homicide. And also the fact that you have the video and all of those people that were around and hearing the man say he couldn't breathe should have been enough to indict. But police union officials and Pantaleo's lawyer had argued that the officer didn't use a chokehold but a takedown move taught by the police department, and that Garner's poor health was the main reason why he died. Isn't it interesting how it always ends up being the person who died fault the day dead? I don't know, y'all. It's very interesting to me. You know, tell a friend, tune in, all of y'all, and comment. I love the back and forth, the feedback, the comments, and all of that. I love that. You know, I like engaging, because one thing that we don't have, especially on mainstream media, we don't have the ability to comment in like that. Have y'all noticed it? So I appreciate everybody for tuning in right now. So, you know, just to recap again, Eric Garner, no indictment. The medical examiner has already ruled it a homicide, and the attorney for the family, as I just read, stating that just shocked, just astonished at the fact that the medical examiner report and also the video should have been enough to at least indict the officer Pantaleo in this situation. And Pantaleo's lawyer is saying that he didn't put a chokehold on him that was banned, because the last time there was a police officer that was indicted in New York happened in 1994. 1994, and let's see, I'll get that individual's name, but that happened in 1994. That's the last time that a police officer had been indicted and put in jail for killing a man on the streets of New York. 1994. This is 2014, and of course we've had a whole lot of things happen since then, but that's what's taking place. So if you guys want to comment too, just like Bridget Malone did, tell me what your thoughts are. Right down at the bottom it says join the conversation. Click on that, type it in, and then I'll be able to see what your thoughts are, and we'll talk about it. The calling number is 404-826-9223. Again, 404-826-9223. If you're about to walk away from your system, we have a listen line, 401-347-0418, where you can still listen and then let me know what your thoughts are. Now, after the grand jury decision, Patrolmen's Benevolent Association president, that's the PBA president, Patrick Lynch, said the union was pleased, but there were no winners here today. There was a loss of life, and that both of the family and the police officer will always have to live with, Lynch said. No police officer starts a shift intending to take another human being's life, and we are all saddened by this tragedy. And I believe him. I don't think anybody wakes up and says, I'm talking about police officers, I hope not, or they don't need to be police officers, clearly. But wake up with the thought in mind that I'm going to go kill an unarmed person today. I would hope that's not the case. However, there are situations that arise, and it seems as though there should be training to where officers should know how to defuse situations rather than escalate them. Does that make sense to anybody? Anybody? Does that make sense? They should know how to diffuse situations, but we don't see diffusing going on. We have a situation there in Cleveland, Ohio. Somebody brought it up, where we have the 12-year-old boy that was shot and killed by the police, black male, and he had his, was it a pellet gun? It looks like a real gun if you don't know, but it looks like, but it's a pellet gun. The guy that called in to 911 told them that he felt that it was a fake gun. He said it at least a couple times. You could hear it on the 911 tapes. But the dispatcher failed to say that to the police that was dispatched. Failed to say it whatsoever. And not only that, but they described this 12-year-old boy as a 20-year-old man. And I say to all of my my parents out there, all of my parents, mothers who have sons, we have to reiterate to our children over and over again that first, you're going to have to behave yourself and respect authority, regardless of whether you think that that officer is right or wrong. They have the bag, they have the gun, so we have to respect that. And if you want to live to make it home, it's best not to be confrontational, to try to hold your peace and your calm as much as possible. And if you can record on that phone, hit it. Because I'm just saying, these situations that have played out, if we had had a videotape of what happened during the incident in Ferguson with Michael Brown, because one person's side that we can't get is Michael Brown's because he's dead. And we hear Darren Wilson and the things that he has to say, which I find quite interesting when he said that when he grabbed onto Michael Brown's arm, it was like a 5-year-old hanging on Hulk Hogan. When Darren, did y'all notice that Darren Wilson is 6'4" himself? He's 6'4". It's not like he's a short dude or a small guy at all. And plus, he's had police training, so he should have been able to handle himself. But at any rate, we have to remind our young men, that when people see you outside of the doors, they don't know that playful, lovable young man that you're raising, to be a responsible adult. They don't know him. All they see is a threat. They see somebody that they don't know who they are. They might have a hood on their head, whatever. And the worst is assumed. I hate it, but that's something that we're facing on a regular basis right now. And, you can disagree all you want to. That's fine. But we've seen it too many times. And one thing I will say this, I've heard on the news that there have been countless times where people have said, look, in the Black community, we deal with a different reality than white America does. Black America and white America have two different experiences in regards to the police and the interaction. Now, there's something that I saw recently in regards to this gentleman received a phone call while he was at work. He owned a dog, and his dog was in his backyard, and he got a phone call from the Humane Society letting them know that the police just killed his dog. His dog was in his backyard, minding his own. He made a videotape, and I'm going to post it on our Facebook fan page so that you guys can see it. But this gentleman made a videotape, white gentleman. He made a videotape talking about he had just received a phone call that the police had shot and killed his dog, who was in his home, in his gate that was fenced in, not bothering anyone. And he was, understandably upset, very angry. He pulls up, he has the video going the entire time, you guys. So what happened is that he confronted the two officers that were standing there, and you had the Humane Society, and he said, I want to know which one of you guys shot and killed my dog. And he's going off. I'm talking about he started cussing. The police officers aren't saying anything. Nothing. And he tells them, aren't you trained to de-escalate situations? Why would you have to shoot my dog? Why couldn't you just back away and close the gate? Why did you have to shoot my dog? And they said they were looking for a lost child. He said, look for a lost child. But you went into my backyard. I'm going to have to post that so you guys can see the reaction. The police were just ever so calm. And I've never experienced anything like that before. The neighborhood that I grew up in, if you start swearing at the police, because there was another instance in the same news clip that I'm going to put up for you guys to look at. There was a black gentleman that was filming the police. There was a situation happening in his neighborhood. There were a lot of people filming. And the reason why I was able to see the whole thing is because there was someone else filming the police. A lot of cameras going on in the neighborhood. And then the police, apparently, they got tired of him filming. They start walking towards him. He saw him. So he put his dog in his car. He put his dog in the car. And then he came out and said, they told him to turn around. No reason of arresting him outside the fact that he was standing there videotaping just like everybody else was with his phone. So they put him in handcuffs. The dog is thinking that they're attacking his owner. So he gets himself out of the window. I guess he forced his way out because the windows weren't all the way down. And they shot his dog like 4 or 5 times. Pop, 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 pop. Killed the dog. Very interesting. But the other guy, the white guy, was cussing out the police, and he was allowed to come and go and all of that. And the other guy, he was just filming, black guy, and he was arrested and his dog killed. Clearly, there's a disparaging difference in how, the police interact with different communities. I've seen it. I know I've seen it in my neighborhood. I've dealt with, being pulled over, not even speeding, no illegal lane change, just the fact that, it's a number of us. There was like 4 or 5 of us in the vehicle. And I have several friends of mine that have the same story. I mean, all the way through college and after. We've dealt with these situations over and over again, and it's just hard to express that to a culture that has no idea, or they had not dealt with situations like this before. But there were 23 members of the Garner in this jury. 14 were white, 9 were non-white, and at least 5 are black. And with this grand jury there in Staten Island, and according to 2 people familiar with the grand jury's racial makeup, they said that 5 out of the 23 were black. Pantaleo was white, of course. Garner was black. Garner's family, in an effort to thwart tensions, has consistently said that they did not want race to be a part of this situation. It's not a right or wrong. I mean, it's not a white or black. It's a right or wrong. So, bad situation. So when we come back, we're going to talk about a few other things that's in the news. There's something that just popped up, came across the wire, and apparently there was a black racist group that plotted bombing the St. Louis Arches that was foiled, and apparently this happened on Wednesday, December the 3rd as well. So we're going to talk about that and more. Keep it locked right here on the Bianca Burwell Show. We'll take a short musical break, and we'll be back after this. Jagged Edge Hope.
But I did it because I had people that believed in me. Here's another statistic. 7,000 students drop out every school day. That's one every 26 seconds. It's time that students know that we believe in them. Inspire a student to share your messages.
My song, Make It Out This Town, is about beating the odds. So is Big Brothers Big Sisters. Many live in single parent, low income, and military families. Too many kids, especially boys, are still waiting for a baby. Volunteer or young. Start something. Big Brothers Big Sisters alumni, please start something. Learn more.
Hello, I'm Ronald Hatcher, Aaron Hatcher's father. Aaron has muscular dystrophy and cerebral palsy.
I'm Ruthie Gray from Betty White's Out There Rockers, but unfortunately, he's no longer with us now. Each year, thousands of cases go unreported for children with disabilities and special needs getting used in their schools. Our mission is to protect the child, as well as the teachers who educate them. Please, help us in our effort to stop the abuse and promote safety by donating to positive initiatives in care of Aaron Hatcher's They Can't Talk, But We Can in P.O. Box 2392, Roswell, Georgia 30077. Or visit our website at theycan'ttalkbutwecaninc.org. Let's not have another loving, innocent child like Aaron die. Remember, they can't talk, but we can.
Call now, 877.
You are tuned into the Bianca Burwell Show on the TheBeatDropsRadio, your top 40 pop and R&B station, New Beat of Atlanta. The call-in number is 404-826-9223. Again, 404-826-9223. If you want to see and interact with me live right now, go to TheBeatDropsRadio.com, click on Watch Live, and you'll be able to see the Q&A. It says join the conversation down at the bottom there, join the conversation. Click on that. And you type in whatever your thoughts are, and give me about 20-30 seconds, and I'll be able to answer it. When we go to break, we put a slideshow in because Google will not allow me to broadcast the musical portion of this show using their platform, I guess is the best way to say it. So I can say whatever, but I cannot, well, I can't say whatever, but you know what I mean. I can say whatever, but I cannot, broadcast music over using their airwaves. So therefore, I put a slideshow in so that you will know that I am on a music break, but you can always listen live all the time by going to TheBeatDropsRadio.com. It plays automatically. Or you can download the TuneIn app. Download the TuneIn app. It's free. And then search The Beat Drops Radio, DROPS, The Beat Drops Radio. You'll find me there. Follow, favorite, and you can listen at any time. Also, we're on Streamer Radio. We're on Radio Tuna. We're all over the place. We have about 15 platforms, and you can also listen live any time of the day by dialing 401-347-0418. You can dial that number, and you can hear the station. And you can hear me at any time. So before I went on break, I was talking a little bit about the situation going on in Staten Island, where the grand jury made up of 23 people, 14 white, says 9 non-white, and 5 of them black, have decided not to indict Pantaleo, the officer that put the chokehold on Eric Garner, therefore causing his death, and the medical examiner had ruled it a homicide. We had the video that has gone viral around the world. They've chosen not to indict. Of course, the attorney for the family was shocked, the same as I am, because, this is breaking news, saying that those two things alone, the medical examiner's report and also the video, should have been enough when you hear Mr. Garner telling them that he could not breathe, and they continued. So, the attorney for the officer argued that Mr. Garner was overweight and he was in poor health and all kinds of stuff. So therefore, hey, and that wasn't a legal chokehold that he put on him. He actually it was a takedown move. That's what it was. It's a takedown move, and he was in poor health, and he was out of shape. And therefore, my client is innocent. So we'll see how this plays out. I had just mentioned the other day how even though it's an unfortunate situation of things that's going on right now, that I said, man, Bill Cosby has got to be happy because they have eased up off of him for at least a second. At least a second. And lo and behold, breaking news, there is another woman that has stepped forward that claims that Bill Cosby sexually assaulted her when she was just 15 years of age. Now that's serious. But I am one of those, and Jill Scott was getting some flack on social media. Jill Scott, love Jill Scott. Very talented artist, singer, and actress. But at any rate, what she was basically saying on social media is that, you know, she just believes in that she knows that there's propaganda, and that, you know, just let the thing play out. Don't just automatically convict the man just because people have come forward. And Whoopi Goldberg has said the same thing. And I believe Faison, the comedian and actor, he said the same thing as well. Just kind of wait until things come out before you start making any opinion one way or the other. You know, that, I mean, just have basically assassinated the man's character in the court of public opinion is what has taken place over this case. But at any rate, lawsuit by a woman who claims Bill Cosby molested her when she was 15 was moved from allegations, you guys, of sexual misconduct against the comedian from the court of public opinion into the courthouse. She has filed the suit. And I have a picture here I was looking at where it was filed December the 2nd. Judy Huth, H-U-T-H, versus William Henry Cosby Jr., aka Bill Cosby. And this was filed, and it says case number B is a boy, C is a Charlie, 565560 in the Superior Court of the State of California, County of Los Angeles. The complaint is for number 1, sexual battery, number 2, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and number 3, negligent infliction of emotional distress. A jury trial is demanded, according to this here. Again, this was filed Superior Court of California, County of Los Angeles, December the 2nd, 2014. And yeah, she said, I'm not going to just talk about it. I'm going to be about it. But at any rate, before I go to a couple other things that I saw with this situation, Judy Huth's lawsuit accuses Bill Cosby of forcing her to perform a sex act on him in a bedroom of the Playboy Mansion around 1974. She is the latest woman to accuse the comedian of sex abuse and is the first one since 2005 to file a lawsuit. 1974. Okay, so 1974, and this is 2014, right? That's the year, 2014. So you have, let's see, 74, that's 40 years, isn't it? Is that 40, 84, 94, 29? Yeah, that's 40 years the last time I checked. So from 1974, she was, she's 15. 15 plus 40, make her, right? You're supposed to be helping over there. You just, you know what I'm saying? 40 plus 15 is 55. 55. All right. So 55 years old, and she has now filed this lawsuit. Like I said, I just read it, case number and all of that. Okay. So Cosby has been beset for weeks by allegations. And you guys, this is coming from HuffingtonPost.com. You guys can go on there and check it out yourself and look at it. But the picture, however, is not. I went somewhere else to find that so that I could see the actual suit or the filings of the papers that they permitted to be put out there in the public. So allegations by more than a dozen women that he drugged and sexually assaulted them in incidents spanning several decades. The comedian has not been criminally charged, and many of the claims are so old they are barred by statute of limitations. Huth's lawsuit, however, contends that she became aware of the serious effect the abuse had on her within the past 3 years. Huh? What? Did y'all? She contends that she became aware of the serious effects the abuse had on her within the past 3 years. California law allows victims of sex abuse when they were minors to bring a claim after adulthood if they discover later in life that they suffered psychological injuries as a result of the abuse. Wow. So at the age of 55, she's saying that she realizes the psychological effects of the abuse suffered at 15. It took her till she was 52. And she filed the case at 55, saying, doggone it, it's you. So Cosby has not been criminally charged, but Netflix and NBC have scuttle projects featuring the comedian, and several shows on his comedy tour have been canceled. I'm pretty sure you guys have heard about him going down to Florida, getting a standing ovation. I think it was packed out or whatever. So her sexual battery and infliction of emotional distress lawsuit states that she and a 16-year-old friend first met Bill Cosby at a Los Angeles area film shoot, and the comedian gave the girls drinks a week later at a tennis club. The lawsuit states, where's her friend? Shouldn't she be corroborating some stuff? Maybe she will later on. I don't know. That's possible. She might be named in the suit. She might be named in the suit. That's possible. So we might see that. The lawsuit states that Cosby took them to the mansion, the Playboy Mansion, after several drinks and told the teenagers to lie and say that they were 19 years old if asked. Now this is back in 1974, y'all. Get the image of 77-year-old Bill Cosby out your mind. This is when 1974. So if you minus 40 years, he was in his 30s too. Still, if this is the case, if this did happen, it's completely unacceptable, and I would hope that that is not the case. However, so he told them, according to them, to lie and say they were 19 years old if they were asked. Her lawsuit states Cosby forced her to perform a sex act on him with her hand. There's this thing about this hand that just is consistent. I will say that's the one shred or strand of consistency that I've seen through all of these stories. But the traumatic incident at such a tender age this is what she said, has caused psychological damage and mental anguish for her that has caused significant problems throughout her life. Huss lawsuit filed in Los Angeles Superior Court is the first time a woman has gone public claiming Cosby abused her when she was underage. A second woman told Pittsburgh television station KDKA last month that Cosby drugged her to the point of unconsciousness in the 1980s when she was 15. The suit does not specify how much Huth is seeking from Cosby. Singer has denied previous accusations, which said the women raising the claims in interviews has been discredited. Singer's statement does not apply to the lawsuit brought in 2005 by Andrea Constant, who claimed Cosby drugged and molested her at his suburban Philadelphia mansion in 2004. Now, I will say I did listen to her story, and I was like, you know what? I kind of think she's believable. Out of all of them, she's believable in that situation. But at any rate, Constant, who worked for the women's basketball team at Temple University, and Cosby settled the case before trial. Cosby reigned from the university's, Cosby resigned from the university's board of trustees on Monday, December the 1st. He had been the school's public face, appearing in advertisements, fundraising campaigns, and delivering commencement speeches. And I will say this too, he's done a lot as far as African Americans and Black Americans have been concerned in regards to paying for education, Morehouse, giving out honorary degrees. I think Jill Scott was a recipient of that as far as Temple. You know, it's a lot. And people are going to be upset on either side of the coin. They're going to be upset at the situation and what has happened, because Bill Cosby has been seen as the father figure. He's been seen as an example of how a Black family can live by having the show, The Cosby Show, that reigned, killed Thursday nights during the 80s. You know, portraying a Black doctor and a Black lawyer being married, raising their 5 children together. And also encouraging them to go to college. He gave us you know, the Cosby kids, Pudding Pops, Jello, excuse me, all kind of stuff that he's done. And it's just hard. It's hard. It's like, man, you know, every man though, they have their ailments, and you know, you can't put anything past anybody. Folks are human. People do things that they have no business doing. People make mistakes. People make bad judgments. They just do. And if this is a situation that happened with Bill Cosby, I hate it. You know, do I think that he cheated on his wife at any time? Yes, I do. I do. I'd be crazy to say that I do. I think he, at some point in time, has cheated on his wife. Yes. Are some of these women telling the truth? Probably. I don't think 100% of them are telling the truth. I don't. But I think some of them might be. So how about this, you guys? How about we step back for a minute and just kind of see what comes of this situation? But I will have to agree with some of the commentators that I did hear in regards to the situation, because Bill Cosby has been quiet. He's been quiet. He's not been making any comments. His attorneys have been speaking on his behalf, saying he's not going to dignify with any type of response, right? Everybody's seen that. And I'll have to agree with them on that. He shouldn't say anything. But now, because you have the lawsuit, that might be one of the better things that's happened, because now he can say, I can't comment because there's a lawsuit. I cannot comment because there is currently a lawsuit. So I just find it interesting in regards to how California state law is, and Los Angeles Superior Court, that I'm cool with them allowing, you know, it might be a child that has become an adult and it's like, man, you know, I'm gonna bring charges, but geez, statute of limitations you would feel like would have run out after 40 years. But she says that, you know, she realizes within the last 3 years, you know, who are we to say that that is or is not the case? We just have to wait to see. And it's a long time. It is a long time to wait. 40 years. But she went straight to the courthouse. So I don't know, and we don't know how this situation is going to play out. It's sad to see a situation like this, and the individual like Bill Cosby, if he put himself in this situation time and time and time again, you know, I feel sorry for you, man. But yet and still, the case and the fact remains that he is a man, and he has not been to court, and he's not been found guilty of anything. Right now, there are accusations, and let everything, you know, roll out. Let everything roll out. And that's just how I look at the situation. So we'll be back after this. Keep it locked right here on the Bianca Burwell Show. We're going to talk about that St. Louis situation. Apparently Black Panthers, or they're saying a black racist group or whatever, has plotted to blow up the St. Louis Arch. I don't know. Keep it locked right here on the Bianca Burwell Show. Matter of fact, what we're going to do, hold on. That's how live radio does. We could talk about it now, but nah, we're not. We're going to go ahead and we'll be back after this. Keep it locked right here on the Bianca Burwell Show.
Radio and email your YouTube links, website, and contact information to TheBeatDropsRadio@gmail.com. Set up an appointment today. Act quickly as we are gearing up for the new year and expanding our network to include interesting, creative, fun, original, and captivating shows. And this just might be you. We are a family-friendly, top 40 pop and R&B station located in the Atlanta metro area. Now, if you don't live in the Atlanta area and have pre-recorded shows, we have time slots available for you too. Don't delay and email us today, TheBeatDropsRadio@gmail.com. It's an aftershave lotion that puts you can add something to the that sounds very good. It prevents gums and growing and reason that's from that's not that's the problem. What about the ladies? Ladies are coming to people with discoloration. It's on the
Wow. Oh my goodness. All right. Wow. You are tuned into the Bianca Burwell Show on the Beat Radio. And I know that I said I was going to talk about the St. Louis situation, but you guys can look it up and I'll make sure that I post it. Okay. Rodney, thank you. Out there in Texas. A couple things I want to say. I'm looking in a few areas here, and I have a few comments that have been made on the show. Well, one question was submitted, a few comments, and somebody put on here, and it might be just to rile people up, you know, for the show for no indictment in Eric Garner case. This gentleman says, always good when criminals die. That's what he said. And then Arthur Raven chimed in and said, God help our country. Interesting stuff. So, okay. We know this situation in Ferguson is going to be rolling. We know the UN now has gotten involved. And I appreciate Mayor Bell for coming in on yesterday and expressing a few things. Because he said, you know what, the United States is always poking their nose in somebody else's business when they feel like they are mistreating their citizens. They're ready to bomb something and all that. And he said, you know, the UN should tell them something like, look here, United States, you always talking about other folks in other countries. We need to take a look and see what's going on with you. Now, Ferguson, you know, we've heard all of these commentators saying all kinds of stuff. I am going to share this link. Thank you, Rodney, for sharing it with me, because somebody had showed it to me or at least told me about it, but I didn't have any links or, you know, I didn't know names or none of that to be able to look it up. So thank you so much for sharing this link. I appreciate it. And what it is, this is about a police officer, St. Louis County police officer that was charged. All right. Now, this happened not too long or around the same time, if my computer screen has stopped jumping. This is a 13-year veteran. This is a black officer. A 13-year veteran of the St. Louis County Police Department is charged with felony assault after striking a Metrolink passenger. I'm believing that that's their public transit system there, public transportation. After he striking a Metrolink passenger on the hand with his expandable baton following the argument. And this is coming from St. Louis CBSlocal.com. And like I said, I'll put the link up so that you guys can see it. I just find this very interesting. Okay, so what happened was the county prosecuting attorney's office on Friday charged 44-year-old DeJuan Gore of Ferguson with second-degree assault. He was jailed on a $3,500 cash-only bond. Gore is accused of using excessive force against an unnamed 24-year-old light rail passenger in late April at the Hanley Road Station in Clayton. He's been assigned to the department's Metrolink unit since May 2012. So he's been there for a while. Okay. A police press release says the investigation was forwarded to the same prosecutor, Bob McCullough, in early May with a recommendation to press charges. Does anyone find this tad bit odd that this officer, black officer, 13-year veteran, the St. Louis County Police Department. Now we know that he got to be in the minority because there's not a whole lot of black officers there. Am I right or wrong, you guys? Am I right or wrong? So, and he struck the passenger on the hand with his expandable baton following the argument. And he was charged with second-degree assault and put in jail and a bond, cash only bond of $3,500. And Bob McCullough said, same one that did a data dump on the grand jury with Mike Brown, he just dumped all this information on them. And he recommends charges in this one. Pow! Hit him on the hand. Black officer hit someone on the hand with a baton who is still alive. Are y'all understanding what I'm saying here? Still alive, but thrown in jail. And then we have the white officer that shot an unarmed teenager multiple times, body laid in the oh, gracious, and nothing. He doesn't recommend anything. How do you reconcile the two? Does anybody know? Because I have absolutely no idea how you can reconcile this, but I'm telling you what, right now, here's what I'm going to do. And thank you, Rodney. I am going to post this on our Facebook fan page so that you guys can see it. Share it. Share the link. I just find this really, really interesting how this can happen. The same year. This is the same year, April and May. And then this situation happened 3 months later. And it takes 100 days to get, no indictment. It's just, if you don't see that there's a difference between how situations are handled, I don't know what in the heck y'all are looking at. So, and the saga continues. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for all of your comments. And, even though some of them that are crazy as hell, like this individual talking about, good when the criminal dies. Wow. Very interesting. It also too, the laws, laws are crafted. I was thinking about this earlier today, and I know my music is on to wrap it up, but I was thinking about this earlier today. The same as slavery. I was watching 12 Years a Slave when that came out, and there was a valid point where a gentleman said to the slave master, he said, suppose that a law be drafted that takes away your freedom. Laws can be changed. And what might be okay today may not be okay tomorrow. And what's okay, at any other time can turn out not to be. So I'm just saying that, these laws, they were crafted in a way to protect the ones that are enforcing it. Maybe I'm wrong about the situation. I may not be right about it, but that's just the way it looks like to me. So I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Make sure you tune in tomorrow because I'm going to do a rerun of yesterday's show because some folks are like, I missed it, even though I posted it all over the place. I'm going to do that on tomorrow, and I'll be back in the building on Friday with Hair Tips by Mighty B. So I'm sure that you guys will enjoy it because it was stimulating conversation. It was a great show. If you haven't done it already, like us on our Facebook page, TheBeatDropsRadio.com. Click on the app. It'll take you directly there to our page. And share it. Suggest it to everybody else. Follow us on Twitter at BeatDropsRadio. And also my Instagram is Bianca_. You won't stop wrapping me up over there. Bianca_Burwell. That is my Instagram. I look forward to conversing with you all later. Let's keep it rocking.